No, this is positive video, Shad. We're being positive.
Try be positive, Tyranth.
Yeah.
Try be positive.
Yeah.
Look what he's wearing.
Look at the axe head. It's like 90 degrees.
Yeah.
What is this? This is supposed to be the winds. What's going on? Positive, Shad. We're being positive.
Those things are slashing really well.
Just let it. No. Let's just see what they got to say. Let's just see what they say. Positive, Shad. We're being positive. I'm getting annoyed by this one.
It is. We didn't want this to be a criticism video, but this is
Positive. We're being positive.
trying to be positive.
Oh my. This is a positive video, guys. I swear. I swear it's a positive video.
Shadowversity.
Greetings, I'm Shad.
And greetings, I'm Tyranth.
Tyranth, we're back to Forge and Fire.
This one is hopefully more fun, positive.
Positive.
Yeah.
Because our other coverage of Forge and Fire was like, look, guys, safety and tests, like where's the, consistency?
And that isn't a good representation of like the show, because I love the show.
Shows are a lot of fun.
It's good fun, and there is a lot of weapons that they do, and we were just scratching the surface essentially. Yeah.
And so what we want to look at now is some of their better performing weapons, right? There's compilations out there, and this is a compilation that or History has released, because History produces Forge and Fire, about their top medieval weapons tested, and looking at swords, axes, and more. And it's a bit of also tip of the hat to the people that make it, because a lot of the craftsmen that come on the show are genuinely talented.
Yeah, and you got to remember that the show only exists because there's craftsmen to do these sorts of things. We kind of were a little bit, not negative, but we were talking about weapons that failed. But that was kind of the point of the video, and I tried to make a point of it in that video that it wasn't a shot at them. They have such strict deadlines to make these crazy complex weapons, and I think we should look at these good ones, because most of the time, most of the time, they're just fine.
They perform pretty damn good.
Yeah. We were looking at just the fails specifically.
And one of the things that we did when looking at the other Forge and Fire kind of fails and stuff is that we were able to approach that from a kind of unique position where we're one of the very few, if only people on YouTube that does similar kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Full-blown destruction testing regularly of swords. And so we know how tough swords should be, what level of abuse they should be able to handle when a test seems a bit unreasonable for the stresses it's imparting onto the sword.
Like, is the test valid for what you're trying to achieve? And funnily enough, it's one of those things where I personally don't particularly care too much about the safety aspect. It's more so if there's people around.
Yes.
I'm more than willing to take a risk with my safety, but I'm not going to take it with a group of people around me. That's where I come at it from,
And so because of that, we actually have quite a lot of experience with swords in this realm. We in some cases do the same thing as Forge and Fire's full-blown destroying, but also practitioners, of course. We have years of experience with swords and various medieval weapons on top of that, studying it ourselves, trying out things, making weapons to different levels of success.
And with, if you just check the channel, there's a bunch of different weapons that we will sometimes, a lot of times, destroy. I mean, the Beck comes to mind immediately, with Nate just smashing it, throwing the spear straight into concrete. We do the same thing.
Yeah. And so that's the perspective that we are bringing to our kind of reaction and commentary. And now we're looking at some of the successes, the cool weapons, and specifically medieval weapons from Forge and Fire. All right, they're beginning with one of my favorites, halberds.
Yeah.
Halberds are just gorgeous.
My first comment is, look how beautiful that one is on the left compared to the one on the right. And I'm not trying to be mean about it. It's just the quality difference. That's insane.
Okay, I'm interested.
To test the strength and durability of your halberds, I'll be chopping into this corrugated sheet steel. Remember, this test is all about what the steel does to your halberds.
Okay, so
not what your halberd.
Corrugated sheet steel
is very
easy.
Thin. Yeah,
that's not going to actually stress the blades too much.
No,
because the car door test that we do is thicker than that.
Oh, yeah, way. See, that's nothing.
It's like a can. I mean, it looks impressive, but I'm not sure people are aware how thin this stuff is.
I mean, just grab a hammer and you'll do it. Ooh, there's a bit of flex on
All of the
That's why we
faces
use
on
the
it are
car door.
still
Like a car
razor
door
sharp.
for this would be
There's
a
no
lot
deformation
more
that I can see.
appropriate.
To test the sharpness of your blades, I'll be cutting through these fish using both the blade and the tip.
Yeah, the tests are kind of interesting on Old Forge and Fire because sometimes they're pretty weak and they wouldn't test the blade, and then other times they're like almost unreasonably tough
Yeah.
that like very few swords are going to go unscathed against
I
that
do
thing.
like what they do with it because they're trying to get variety, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting and fun. But if you're going to go that route, the test needs to be proportional. Or you can go the other route, which is the route we go, which is having standardized.
Consistency,
Yeah.
standardized tests where we can gauge the performance of these weapons against other ones.
Yeah.
But that they did one against like it looked like the rim of a
well.
a well, and it was
With
just
rock.
just smacking it into rock. That's one of the most like severe abusive mediums you could choose.
Which we've done.
we've done. And like very few swords are going to come out unscathed from that.
Positive. We've been positive.
Trying to be positive.
I don't know how well they'll do cutting
Against a
something fairly
fish,
soft.
though, if their aim is fine, it's gonna blast through it. Yeah. No contest. Horseman's axe. Okay. These look awesome.
They do. I feel like these are interesting in the fact that you always have one weapon that looks like, oh, this dude's made like a bunch of these, and one dude who's like, yeah, I've never made this before.
Because that's like it's a little rough around the edges.
Well, this one looks reasonable.
Really, I thought the other one looked better. Oh, actually, I might need to take that one back. It's kind of
No.
vicious. Oh, that was an ugly hit though. That alignment was real poor. This is one of the pet peeves.
Hold on, let's just see what they say.
Your edge over here is sharp. It lacerated deep into the bowels right here. Yours.
See, this is one of my. We mentioned this in previous Forge of Fire. Now they're kind of criticizing the performance of the blade of the weapon that it did like. But that was more the
haven't
user
crit-
error.
This stresses me out because this is the same guy. Remember when he hit the knife and nearly hit him in the head?
Yeah.
This one has a spike on the back. So
Yeah.
this stresses me out.
And again, look at what they're wearing. Just only safety glasses. And
No, this is positive video, Shad. We're being positive.
try be positive, Tyranth.
Yeah.
Try be positive.
Yeah.
Look what he's wearing.
Look at the axe head. It's like 90 degrees.
Ooh, that looks impressive.
Yeah.
But again, because we haven't tested ice, I don't know. Like, oh, hello.
What is this? This is supposed to be the winds. What's going on?
Look, I did.
Look where he's facing. He's facing towards the people.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, that was a horrid strike, but it survived it. Look at this coming in. That angle is terrible. See, if it broke on this, I would be blaming user error a bit.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm just looking at his face. Pucker up.
Yeah. But it survived it though.
He was also
Alex,
a lot more
your
flat
horse
on
was
with that. On the other one, he was very on the corner.
Next,
The I have trouble pronouncing this. Guisarme?
I'm not going to try it.
French. I want to hear how they pronounce it now, actually. Let's
To see what kind of lethal damage your weapon will do, I'll take your glaive guisarme and deliver thrust and
Guisarme,
slashes
they call
on
it.
this deer carcass.
Just call it a glaive.
Nick, you're up first. You ready?
It's not
Guess
a glaive.
So.
It's a glaive.
No, it's
a glaive.
It's like a glaive, but it's not.
Yeah, look, there. The glaive.
Pretty good. I'm just excited to see what's
Guisarme.
I'm hoping this is the only big dead
Guisarmes
apple
usually
I feel
have the
today.
prong at the back for trapping.
my arm?
Yeah, the prong that I'm kind of half covering. Those things are slashing really well.
Just let it. No. Let's just see what they got to say. Let's just see what they say. Positive, Shad. We're being positive. Bro, what was that? Hold on.
That was user error. Are you kidding me? Wait, let's slow this down and watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming in at. It's like looking straight, but the thing is, okay, It's flat to the camera, but it's raising up as it's slicing in.
And the deer carcass is like this. It's got a bit of bend.
Look at it raising up as it's like, that.
And then it rolls into it.
Of course it rolls. But it's springing, like it flexed there. That's, to me, that should actually be a positive.
It's a big weapon.
I would consider that, all right, we need to do another test to try and get good edge alignment. This is where consistency of the strike is really important to compare weapon to weapon.
Yeah. It's interesting. I wonder if they do just film those 4 cuts and then go, whatever happens, moving on. And it's like, well, hold on. What if you did a really bad cut like that? It's like, well, that gave me nothing. Oh, I mean, it told me you've got a nice temper on it a bit.
Yeah.
But apart from that, they don't care about that. So do it again. Who do you think won?
Nick, Alex.
I actually don't know. Unless they count that first strike.
If they, I think they're going to downvote that rolled strike at the beginning and give it to the other guy.
Because it's not good handling.
Both done an incredible
Let's see if we're
amount of
right.
work on your finale weapons. However, there can only be one Forged and Fire champion, and that champion is Nick.
Yep.
Congratulations. You are...
When performance-wise, actually looking at performance and how
They were
well
identical.
They were near identical.
Yeah.
Yeah. That seems a little rigged. Do you know that we are making exclusive videos for our supporters? These are full-length, dedicated Shadowversity videos, and a lot of them we just can't afford to put out publicly because YouTube suppresses them, but they're still content people love, and so we're making it for our supporters. And this video we've had, for several months. Just, they weren't doing well, but now if you want access to this exclusive content, just $1 a month. That's all it takes, and that you can do that through Patreon or Subscribestar. Channel memberships also gives you access to this. That's YouTube channel memberships. And this week, we have looking at sword wins. Just kind of, this is a positive video as well. We want to look at some of the positive Forged and Fire.
Yeah.
There's also positive sword content. People doing cool, fun things with swords. And we have a full, discussion and react video looking at some of the internet sword wins. And that's available this week. Either it's coming out or is already out. And if you're a supporter, just as $1 a month, that's all it takes. And that's Patreon, Subscribestar, or channel memberships. And you get not only that exclusive video, heaps of weekly exclusive videos that we're pumping out now.
Check them out. They're available now.
Cheers. Interesting. That's a chunky looking blade. I wish they would give us the weights of these.
Sorry, I'm just looking at it. I'm taking it in. That is a very chunky blade with a large crossguard, a kind of strange handle, and a very small pommel.
The pommel is very little.
The lethality of your arming.
It's a very little pommel.
Very
That is
fine
a-
edge
That looks so heavy.
and not a lot of weight behind it.
Again, this is
And
probably this
I
guy's
didn't build
first
that.
time ever making this.
Maybe Forge and Fire should genuinely have like a rating on the quality of the sword for its weight and handling and proportions.
I would love to have that information, yeah.
But it seems like they're skipping over that and they're just testing its how much damage it can do and how much it can survive. And if you overbuild a sword, so it's this chunky bar of metal, it's going to be really tough, but it'll be an unwieldy piece of crap.
And also, depending on who's wielding it,
Yeah.
it could be well-balanced or it could be terrible.
So it feels like they're just skipping over a pretty important aspect of gauging
Weight
sword
behind it.
quality.
And
That's a tough pig carcass.
All right, John,
That is a thick blade with like a crazy cross-section,
It
so...
let's talk about your arming sword here. It's heavy.
I'm glad it looked bloody heavy.
It did cut on some parts of the carcass, other parts it just bounced off. Thrusting-wise, though, it did what it was designed
I mean, that tip is vicious.
for. This will kill.
thank you, sir.
Yes.
Right here.
So will a crowbar,
Yeah, this one's complicated because, like I said, I'm not trying to be like mean or anything to his craftsmanship, but that is not a good sword
It doesn't
by
look-
any metric in terms of an actual refined
Yeah.
design. Like if we got that to review,
Oh, we would, yeah.
I think this is in one of the fails.
Is it? Might be.
Yeah.
Like, it's bouncing back towards you, mate. This is the chunky sword, isn't it? Oh, that
Yeah, this was a
roll.
fail one. Yeah.
Well, this is very heavy, very...
Very heavy.
See, again, this is why I say this test is not proportional to what this blade is, because that's just a big hunk of steel smashing ice. It's going to do that no matter what.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm not getting feedback from this one.
Well,
is what I would
they're
say.
testing durability, but I mean, with a chunk of steel like that, you'd expect to be pretty durable. All right, I want to get some more close-ups of that one. We haven't seen much of it.
Great.
Nice.
Oh, look at that.
This is a very sharp blade, a great thrusting blade, and I like how...
I mean, just like looking at the blade there, it looks much better made.
Yes.
Yeah, the second sword looks so much better in terms of just design.
Yeah. I feel like maybe they should put that ice just a bit lower for him.
Yeah.
Instead of at like head height. You know?
Oh, there goes the pummel. It's lucky that didn't slide out.
But are you telling me by default the other guy wins now?
That would annoy me, honestly. Because look, on an abusive test like that, it's not actually, well, you would hope it not to happen. The peen was the failure point. But if so much the other sword is better...
And we've got to be careful here. What's a sword? Like, that means technically our wall hangers are beautiful swords.
But they're chunks of steel.
They're not proper swords.
Drew, this is a beautiful sword.
Thank you.
Problem is, I'm holding your pommel in his hand.
Because then I could just turn in a sharpened piece of steel bar and win. Like,
yeah, this one is tricky because, of course, having the pummel, fall off with serious abuse and vibration is
not a good thing.
Not good. It shows a flaw in the sword. But I'd still think it's a better sword than the other one.
Yeah, if this is especially to be the Forged in Fire champion, and you're making an arming sword, then it needs to have, I would say, certain parameters and qualities that make an arming sword what it is. And weight would be a really important
Massive
thing.
one.
Yeah, it's a one-handed sword.
If they turn in a sword that is so heavy and unwieldable that you would never want to use it in combat, that's an automatic failure. It's not an actual sword then.
Yeah.
It's a sword-like object.
Your blade has suffered a catastrophic failure.
Shake my hand and get out
I
of
have
the
to ask you to please leave the forge.
That's
my
come
blade
off.
failed.
Yeah.
But I feel
Because, like, even if we look at it this way, important sword design, like crossguard and pommel size, needs to be proportional to the blade. Like, what's the point of having a pommel if it doesn't act as a counterweight to the blade? That pommel is not a counterweight to that blade, so therefore it's not good.
I'm sorry, mate. You got robbed.
I'm getting annoyed by this one.
It is. We didn't want this to be a criticism video, but this is one of the annoyances I have with, the judging on this show at times.
Yeah, this one's,
Because they put too much emphasis on its durability, but as if it's a chunk of steel, it is going to be durable, so is a bloody crowbar.
Positive. We've been positive.
Trying to be positive.
And no hate to the other guy who made the other one. It obviously looks like this is the first time he's made one of these.
But he didn't deserve to win.
Like, look at that pommel.
Against
Oh my. This is a positive video, guys. I swear it's a positive video.
In case you don't know, that is butted mail. It's like LARP, cosplay grade armor. It's not like valid analog. But if they're just testing the durability of the sword and it's a consistent medium, fine. I guess they still get some valid tests. But you should really be using...
No. When
mail.
you are creating a show where you're creating historical weapons that have certain parameters that they have to fill and they're being tested rigorously so that you can be called the Forged in Fire champion, you don't get to use butted mail. You just don't get to use that. We use riveted mail.
I know.
Hey, hold on.
sword.
Wow, they all look bad, but the one closest to the camera is the one that's least bad.
I don't know how much time they had to make them.
Yeah, that's true, but look at how chunky this cross guard is there.
It also looks
out of
uneven.
proportion,
Yeah, uneven.
That's looking rough. But again, if they had like no time,
because
I
I
didn't really
think
have a
I've
lot of
seen this
time to
episode,
get the edge.
and I think this is the first thing they make, not the final
That's
thing.
where I want it.
it's like the mail isn't even there. Is that why they picked it? Because it blows apart more, impressively? The links are flying off. That's an ugly looking. Look at the weld on that.
Honestly, I give them credit for testing it. I personally probably wouldn't.
Really? Hopefully she'd be wearing more protective gear. Look at the mail just fly apart like this.
I swear, that has to be aluminum mail.
Maybe.
Because, like,
that's
even steel doesn't
Josh,
do that.
That's weak. They're more testing whatever's underneath it as the actual target medium. Hang on, I think they have loose links in there.
Which would never be a good
I think
thing.
they just have loose links so it'll bounce off on hit.
They have to, yeah.
Because there's no way even butted mail's going to blast apart
Yeah,
like
they do.
that.
They do, yeah.
That's just loose links on it to make it look
A little bit of a show trick. Yeah.
So it's interesting that even some of our pet peeves of Forge of Fire still came out, even though we weren't looking for it.
No, because this is the top medieval weapons tested.
Yeah.
No negativity here. That's not what it's supposed to be.
Some of them were great. Some were ugly as sin. But
Yeah, but
again,
like,
the time
constraints, yeah. And especially when you factor in, like, this might be this person's first time ever making this thing.
Yeah.
So, what do you expect, really? But I think that's all for Forge and Fire. Let us know. Positive video.
Positive
video, yeah.
If you want to see our other Forge and Fire reaction video, got one right there. And we have some criticisms.
Yeah.
That you can, hope to see you there.
Okay.